When the dust all cleared and when the smoke all settled, the Las Vegas Raiders emerged victorious against the Los Angeles Chargers in the 27-20 win yesterday. Yes, it was very fun. It was a very good game overall. You had two teams slugging it out in the AFC West, trying to honestly, both teams really are still kind of in the hunt here. So definitely a lot of interesting things and definitely a lot of interesting players to cover in our latest edition of Standouts and FIZZOUTS, because Pop, everybody's got their own edition of winners and losers. This is ours. Standouts because players that stood out. FIZZOUTS because Pop, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And yes, we think that it should be replacing all water sometime soon. I mean, it's Pop. Let us know what you guys drink in the comment section down below. Coke, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, or that great value Diet Dr. Thunder, whatever it is that you guys drink. Let us know in the comment section down below. Now, let's start by talking about the standouts and fizzouts for the Los Angeles Chargers. So you got to start by talking about Justin Herbert. Now, I know Justin Herbert, kind of looking at this, you probably think that he's a player who, when you finish 28-47 for 335 yards and a touchdown, usually not horrible numbers, but for Justin Herbert, it's not exactly something to write home about. And I'll even extend the olive branch here. It wasn't like his offensive line kind of really wasn't doing him any favors. Like, this was a game where you actually saw a man in Chandler Jones come out and do his thing for the Raiders. So it was a rough day overall for Justin Herbert, who was sacked, I think, 5 times. So we'll first start with standouts. And yes, my first standout I'm going to go out with is Justin Herbert. I felt like he was a very good player overall, doing what he could with what he had. Wasn't pretty, but overall, I do not blame him for a lot of things that went down. It is what it is. Probably the first standout should have been Bryce Callahan. Did have his that pick 6, but I mean, the rest of that secondary and whoever was guarding Devontae Adams throughout the day, yeah, wasn't great. But Bryce Callahan started out things with that pick 6, and you love to see it. Overall, did a lot of good things. So, but as far as the rest of this squad, Austin Eckler, I mean, he wasn't bad. You talk about having over 100 yards of total offense. Also, Keenan Allen, definitely another standout. 6 catches, 88 yards, and a touchdown. Like, it wasn't a bad day. Even Gerald Everett had himself a day. Definitely another standout for the Chargers, finding a way to continue to get it done. Like, he was not going down without a fight. You love to see it. Also, Josh Palmer, for me, a guy that finished the game with 7 catches for 60 yards. I think he just continues to be that breakout player that the Chargers really needed at that wide receiver position. So I was really happy and excited to see that. Might not want to get him on your fantasy team yet, but it is what it is. Also, another standout for me, I felt like, we covered Keenan Allen, all those guys. Michael Davis was also another standout for me. I felt like he had a good game overall. I really felt like this was a game where the Chargers defense, what was it, that pass breakup or something that he had, that nice play there, I believe it was in the first half too. So this was a rough overall day for the secondary of the Chargers, but Bryce Callahan, like we talked about with that pick 6, also led the team in tackles with 6. Derwin James, I mean, he just continues to be everywhere, but you get no sacks, which brings us to our very first fizz out. The defensive line. I know that the Raiders' offensive line has been vastly improved, and the fact that they mainly run the football these days, but you looking up and down this list, no sacks, not a single one. And yes, there were times they did get pressure on Derek Carr, but overall did not get any sacks of Derek Carr. So it is rough there. I guess it is what it is. Also, DeAndre Carter had a nice punt return to there. So, I would also say and argue that the Chargers defensively, I know that the injuries play such a huge part in it, but overall, it wasn't great. It absolutely was not great for the Chargers. Also, other fizz-outs, the run defense you talk about. I know Josh Jacobs continues to just go on this tear for the Raiders. I mean, what is it? Over 1,300 rushing yards right now, 13 touchdowns or whatever it is. But your run defense, I mean, just second and third efforts, like he was just running hard and like nobody was going to stop him. It is what it is. Also, Chris Rumph the second, excuse me. He had a couple of different plays, and it's not even just him. The defensive line as a whole just really got manhandled the entire day by the Raiders offensive line, but it is what it is. Overall, the Chargers, I mean, they can come back from this, at 6-6, the Raiders at 5-7. So you've got the Chargers at second and then the Raiders at third place there in the division. So, I mean, if the Raiders continue to make some noise, you never know. So I think it could be interesting and something to watch. Now, as for the Raiders, stand out definitely Derek Carr. Now, if you just look at what he did, if you just look at 16 of 30 for 250 yards, 2 TDs, 1 pick, it's not his best day. I will extend the olive branch there. I will easily extend the olive branch, but He made timely throws. He did what he was supposed to do, and overall, the Raiders came out victorious, so you really can't be that mad at him. Josh Jacobs, another standout, 26 carries, 144 yards, and a touchdown. Just, man, he continues to absolutely just tear up the NFL. Easily has earned himself a second contract with the Raiders. Another standout, clearly Davante Adams, probably the man of the match. 8 catches, 177 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, just, there's not a lot you could do. You just couldn't stop the man. He's just an overall stud. Also, Matt Collins, like, I know we preached on it. We wanted that second wide receiver to come out, but you're happy to see he finished the day with 5 catches for 35 yards. Foster Moreau also had that nice catch. That was a dime thrown by Derek Carr as well, too. You got to give you got to give Foster Moreau at least credit for catching it ish. Yeah, I don't know, but overall, yes, made a nice catch there. The Raiders also a standout. Chandler Jones, finally. That's all I got to say. Like, this man finally came out and seemed to, for at least one game, justify the contract he got in the offseason. Finished the game with 3 sacks. It's about time. 6 total tackles, 3 sacks for Chandler Jones. Isaiah Polamau, I know that's not even close to correct, also added a sack. And then, yes, Matthew Butler as well as Cleveland Farrell also got on a sack for the Raiders. So the defensive line, we called it. They were going to have to get after it, both interior and exterior. It really wasn't even just Max Crosby that was getting after it, even though he was kind of quiet this game. But overall, didn't matter. His teammates took care of it for him, so it did not matter at all. Also, standout, Nate Hobbs led the team in tackles with 8. He was just flying around making a whole bunch of plays. You got to be really happy. Also, Sam Webb was at that play at the last play of the game there to be able to make the game-winning play. You love to see it. Another standout, Jerry Tillery. You saw, like, I know we touched on it, a little bit in terms of the need for the interior pass rushers to step up. Going up against his former team, you knew he was a little bit more motivated to go out there, and he played some really good football for the Raiders, put constant pressure. Oh, when he planted Justin Herbert on the ground, oof, I thought there was going to be a flag, but there wasn't. Also, Jayon Brown just continuing to fly around. I think he had that early pass breakup too for the Raiders in the red zone. Josh Jacobs, we mentioned. O-line, fantastic job, just continuing to do their thing out there. No sacks on Derek Carr. Josh Jacobs ran for 144 yards. They should all get a car. Like, the Raiders should just go out and buy the entire Raiders offensive line a car just right now. Also, really the entire defense, like, the defense stepped up. I know what a lot of people are going to say. Oh, well, Justin Herbert still threw for over 300 yards. I don't care. I think it was 300. Yeah, 335. Yeah, I don't care. The running game for the Chargers was kind of non-existent. So you really did make Justin Herbert beat you, which, I mean, not usually a recipe for success, but overall you are happy with what you see there. As far as the Raiders and other standouts, I really felt like this defense was really in a place where, there are just so many different guys that were coming at it. So I know we mentioned the defense, but guys like Sam Webb, guys like Jayon Brown, all those guys that come in and play those other roles. Also, Trevon Moehrig also had a pretty good game as well. So top to bottom, I'm really excited with this defense. It's better. It's a step in the right direction. You got to see it. As far as the Raiders and FIZZOUTS, I mean, not a lot, because I felt like they were in complete control of this game. They closed out another game, the 3rd game in a row, where they're finally showing us that they can finally close out these games. I mean, Daniel Carlson maybe missed that, what was it, a 50-yarder? I mean, the only reason I do that is because, the second, third game in a row, he's missed a kick from, 47 to 50 yards or whatever it was. It's rough, but I mean, it's Daniel Carlson. He'll bounce back. He always does. So I'm really not that worried about it. I mean, if we want to talk about FIZZOUTS, probably that second half defense, like, all those guys, whether it was Keenan Allen, no matter who it was, they did get something kind of going in there, and it really was up till the last second. You had to come back, from being down in that first half. It wasn't much, but you came out throwing right away. Davante Adams making up for it. So overall, very good game by the Raiders. I think that they are really starting to show that they are a team to contend with. 5-7. Hey, we like everybody's been talking about it. 10-7 is still a possibility, and so are the playoffs at this point. But let us know what you guys think. Who did we miss for standouts and FIZZOUTS? Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome. We love every single one of you. Down in the description below, you'll find all of our social media platforms. So give us a like and a follow there. Also, remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put it in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. Let us know what you think about in the comment section about our newest edition of Standouts and FIZZOUTS, and let us know what kind of pop you guys drink. Coke, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, again, Diet Dr. Thunder, whatever it is. But let us know what you guys think about our latest edition of Standouts and FIZZOUTS for the Las Vegas Raiders versus Los Angeles Chargers matchup.